Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's an example yesterday I saw of this woman who's been here. I mean, we might even play this clip. She's been here 20 years. She has 3 kids who were born here. Her kids are because of birthright citizenship, which is another subject that's coming up. And she never bothered to even try to resolve her immigration status. Not in 20 years. She has never tried to resolve her immigration status. Not through Republican presidents, not through Democratic presidents, nothing. And so now, she's worried about being deported because they put out the sob story of this woman. Well, that's not the average person they're even looking at right now. The average person they're looking at crossed in the last 3 years are CNN is cutting jobs to embrace the digital future. No, because they're cutting jobs because, as I like to say, they suck. CNN is undergoing significant restructuring, planning to lay off about 200 employees, which constitutes approximately 6% of its workforce. This move is part of a broader strategy under CEO Mark Thompson to pivot towards a digital-first approach, focusing on expanding digital subscriptions and reducing costs from traditional TV operations. Wait a minute. Didn't they already try the CNN subscription service, which failed miserably? Which, if you truly have compassion for trans kids, you would allow them to all go through puberty, because 90% of kids who think they're trans change their mind once they go through puberty. That puberty is the fix for most of the problems. But you guys want the medicalization of kids and sterilization of kids and medical and surgical altering of kids who can't make that decision at 12 years old or 13 years old. Diablo asks, why is it when I try to show empathy and concern, people always misconstrue it? Last time I asked someone if their mom at least got a good check from the clinic that botched the abortion. Oh! Oh, God. Damn it, AD. I think you just need to find a gentleman.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
I would be willing to bet everything I own that submitting a 22-minute video montage that shows the most egregious acts of violence you can find from that day, when the defendant in question is on that video for only 6 seconds and the scene walking calmly, is highly prejudicial and a violation of the defendant's due process rights. The person was found guilty and sentenced to 19 months in prison. Now, it took 2 hours to read through all of the documents that were in the case file. Every motion submitted by the defendant was denied. Every motion by the defendant was denied. How often does that happen? And every motion submitted by the government was granted. They turned a trespass misdemeanor that would have resulted in a $50 ticket into 5 misdemeanors and a felony charge by charging the defendant with a statute that would have required the Secret Service to rope off the section he was in, which they did not. They also charged him with a statute that would have required them to prove Mike Pence was in the building at the time he walked through that corridor. He was not. And they used an Enron statute that the Supreme Court struck down. If you accept a pardon, you are admitting guilt. Period. That's the, because you can't be pardoned if you're not guilty.
Whether he can preemptive pardon, whether he can issue president's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr.
Oh,
that
you
would be a
can't?
gross abuse
Oh,
of the presidential
it's a
pardon authority.
gross abuse of presidential pardon authority. Well, there you go. You accepted a pardon, Adam Kinzinger. You think you may have committed a crime. Oh, here, Jamie Raskin. Dirty Q-tip. Dirty Q-tip, Jamie Raskin. What else? What did he have to say?
Well, the seeking of pardons
Yes,
is
it's
a
only on
powerful
one side.
demonstration of the consciousness of guilt, or at least the consciousness that you may be in trouble.
Jamie
And that's
Raskin.
what's so shocking
Did he
about
get a
this.
pardon also? Wasn't he on
Well,
that committee?
The seeking of pardons is...
He was on that committee. I'm curious if you're going to condemn that part. Are you going to condemn that pardon?
You know, Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain.
Lots of murderers, lots of drug dealers, lots of people who killed people, commuted the sentence of a couple murderers. One drug dealer who people died from taking the drugs that they sold them.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
The Obama Aniston rumors have gone wild. Rumors have emerged on social media that suggest Barack and Michelle Obama might be heading towards divorce, with speculators linking Barack Obama to actress Jennifer Aniston. Those rumors have gained traction following Michelle Obama's absence from Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration, and are based on tabloid stories and social media speculation without solid confirmation from the individuals involved. So far, they're still rumors, and I don't know why people are perpetuating them, but it is kind of fun to perpetuate rumors like that. No one's come out to, out and out deny anything. That's the weird part.
We should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity.
The audacity!
Of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability.
Oh my God, his own criminal culpability and his son's business dealings. I know that they're talking about Joe Biden, aren't they?
And that of his family members.
Like the boy asked, are cats really soul suckers? Yes. Yes. That's why I'm not into cats. Dogs, man. I'm a dog guy. Avocado Diablo, is there an aisle in the grocery store that is less objectionable to have sex in? Where do you come up with this shit? Dude.
Has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician has risen.
Yes.
Somebody who 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, a dead.
And I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding Donald Trump's demise that has failed. I wonder how many people at Davos, again, let me say it again. I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding what they had hoped would be Trump's demise. I bet you there's a few of them there. And it didn't work, did it now? Didn't work now, did it?
Politically known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
End of the show, every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Howdy, 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 hi. Howdy, 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 ho. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where I get in arguments about Ukraine on the internet. Yes, I did. Yesterday, I commented on one of the Krasenstein's posts, and I got dozens and dozens and dozens of replies. Some in support, and some people calling me a cultist, and that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite accusations I get from people when I support something that Donald Trump does. They say, "Oh, you're in a MAGA cult," to which I think to myself, I'm like, yeah, never owned a MAGA hat. I sometimes call Donald Trump a jackass, as you well know. I've done it on the show. And, I don't agree with everything Donald Trump does, but I agree with the policies that have gone through and what he's done, what he says and what he sounds like and some of the stuff he does, I think is silly and petty. But the actual, when the rubber meeting the road, so to speak, the stuff that actually gets done, yeah, I agree with most of it. So there are a couple things that come up that I do disagree with. And so we'll get into that during the show. Plus, there's a lot of stuff about Ukraine. Apparently, Europe's stepping up and going to give Ukraine a shit ton of money, or at least support financially, whether it's for more war effort or if it's just to rebuild. I don't know. I didn't see the details of it, but that's what we got. I got an argument about some people because I thought, oh, yeah, it's about time they stepped up since it's part of Europe. It's like we're over here and we're doing, if we're carrying half the load and the Europeans are caring about the other half, I think we've contributed more than enough. That's my personal opinion. But some people think I am just a Putin puppet. I'm just a cultist. I'm this, and that. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So welcome to the show. First, we already got a couple bucks in the tip jar from Avocados Diablo. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Appreciate it. So let's go ahead and do this one. Then we'll get to saying hi to everybody. Avocados Diablo with a small bullet in the tip jar saying, they tell me Trump wants to ban IVF. Then he goes and signs an executive order to look into ways to make it more affordable. Odd way to ban it. Also, they tipped a link here. Senator Kennedy being Senator Kennedy about 25 seconds to the 3-minute mark. Okay, we'll click that link and drop that over here. We'll check because we love us some.
But the best reaction we could ever want.
we love us some Kennedy. The Kennedy from Louisiana, not the rest of the Kennedys. Although Kennedy's famous name, whatever. So let's say hi to everybody. Get the show going because I'm so late. First in the chat today is Mr. Avocados Diablo, of course, and there you go. You got the bell and a ka-ching. Good morning also to Anon 1 2 3. Ha 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 ha. Good morning, Lord Stanhope. Vader 35 making an appearance. Ms. Wild Wolf, what's up, my fellow Minnesotan? Resolute Germ, what's happening? Mike Savage, Blarg. K. Shaw's in the house. Good morning, Kirsten. Tyler F. Johnny Boomer text just here all the time. Also, Tyre Alexander, the Scourge. Good morning. Oh, stop that music. Stop that music. Also, good morning. Who is else here? Aaron Meredith, what's up? Unacceptable views, my other favorite Canadian, GDSOB. Good morning. Amazing Disgrace is in the house. And Attack Alpaca, Nomad's here. Hammer time. Also, good morning to you already here. I already said you and said you. Is that everybody? That can't be everybody. Well, anyway, there's a handful of people here. We got 21 people in the show, 10 likes. Hit the like button while you're thinking about it. I guess that still really helps, hitting the like button. I don't know why, but please. And if you happen to saunter by here later in the day, hit the like button on the Oh, well, I guess you can only do it once. Mrs. Hayes, JB, good morning. What's up? So, yeah, I guess that still helps. That gets the algorithm to go and make some noise and whatever it does. So let's get into some of the stuff that's trending. Of course, it is Hump Day. I don't know why I like doing that. And rather than just go scroll through a bunch of stuff on Hump Day, let's just start with, I just picked out two because there's one for Happy Hump Day and there's one for Hump Day. And so here you go. There you go. Here's, oh, wrong one. Let this work. There we go. There you go. Happy Hump Day from American Patriot. It says, good morning, Patriots. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Hump Day. Happy Hump Day. Get up and grab that coffee and let's go. Excuse me. Hello, Roasted Opinions. I see you in the chat. And then I got another one. I can't remember what the other one was. The problem with Hump Day on X, as you know, if you just do the topic, click the topic, Hump Day, or do a search, Hump Day or Happy Hump or Happy Hump Day, you're liable to see some humps with no clothing on them. Now, I cannot put that stuff on the internet, so I just picked out a couple of the favorites today. And then we also have one. Is this from Bloom County or no? I don't know who this is. But it's a cartoon for Hump Day. You can't see the whole thing. Let me make that so you can see it at least. Here, let me fix that. Where is it? Right here, full middle. There we go. All right, so this is a cartoon with a couple detectives and a police officer looking in the room here. And if you can't read the text, I'm going to read it for you. Noticed all the computations, theoretical scribblings, and lab equipment, Norm. Yes, curiosity killed these cats. That's friggin' hilarious. Oh, Far Side. Thank you. I get it mixed up. Bloom County, Far Side, Calvin and Hobbes. They're all old school cartoons. Yeah, it is Far Side. You're right. Isn't Gary Larson does the Far Side, right? Gary Larson? Yeah, that's who it is. All right. So there you go. There's your Hump Day greetings. Also, now, the number one topic trending this morning was hashtag sell your Trump tokens. I guess apparently at some point Trump did a, what do you call it? What do you call those? What do you call that when you do a meme coin and they had Trump tokens and people were buying them up left and right. And so some of these people, I guess, because people hate Trump, some people, a certain group does not like Trump. They're saying, "Oh, sell your Trump tokens now." And so Trump tokens now. And so this first post up here, I'm reading this, and I'll just read it verbatim. I'll try to be nice. Just read it. It says, "Hope you hashtag MAGA morons get fleeced by this con man, bigly thief, also the biggest traitor and the laziest and dumbest. If you idiots just keep sending him money, which happens to be a violation of the Constitution, and he should be impeached." I'm confused. Yeah, they're expecting a rug pull. Is that what they're doing? Is that what they're doing? Hello, Francis Barrett. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Yeah, they're expecting. Is there a rug pull going on right now? I just don't buy meme coins. I am not well versed in this stuff, right? And so I'm not doing it. But someone says, who the hell is selling Trump right now? Why the rush when the sell your Trump tokens now trend is heating up? Hold tight, crypto's moving higher and the best opportunities are ahead. Stay calm, stay smart, crypto. I don't know. I'm very, very skeptical about the whole meme coin thing. But I don't think that would be cool for whoever's selling the Trump coins to do a rug pull. But other people are saying Donald Trump is going to shock the world. I had to put for entertainment purposes only in there for TikTok. I don't know why people are talking about sell your Trump token now, because when the shift happens, it's going to be worth so much more. So this is somebody else who's, I guess, apparently into the Trump coin. I don't know. I don't care. It's just one of those things that leftists get trendy because they hate Trump, and so they're going to try to disparage him as much as they can. But it's trending. I'll tell you that. Say your Trump coin. This is simply a lie. We see no proof of this. Oh, this is something. Okay, I see what you're doing. That's someone talking about Elon Musk. So that has nothing to do with it. Anyway, it's the number one trending thing, so I figured I'd put it on the screen today. Also, trending topics. Caroline Leavitt is trending. The new White House, the new White House press secretary. She's still new because it's only been 30 days. He's not even been in office 30 days yet. But I'm not sure. But she did post this the other day. Should I continue wearing my cross during press conferences? I guess some people were upset that Caroline Leavitt was wearing a cross while she was doing a press briefing. I mean, literally, they were upset. They start people talking about, you gotta, that's against the church, separation of church and state and all that shit. And I'm like, what? What does her jewelry have to do with separation of church and state? So I'm like, yeah, what? Why is that even a question? If you want to wear your cross, wear your cross. That's your personal thing, Nobody really gives a shit about that. They just want to find ways to be mad about Trump. So anyway, and also some people are mad because Caroline is also Catholic and Donald Trump has come out in favor of IVF, in vitro fertilization, and is trying to make it easier for people who want to have children through that method. And it's controversial if you're in the Catholic, because the Catholic believes that when anytime you have a fertilized egg, that's immediately time that you have to continue on. And some people don't believe that. And I don't. If you believe that, then don't do it. If you do believe it, whatever. I'm not going to talk about that as a controversy. It's a way some people have babies, okay? But this person says, Caroline, if you are Catholic, IVF is a grave violation of human dignity, as the church has consistently taught. This is a tragedy. Please do not sacrifice truth, but be a bold witness to it before the powerful figures whose presence God has placed you. I don't care. It's just one of these areas that I would not take a stance either way because I don't care. But anyway, she's a pretty fascinating figure, and she's cute as hell. Here's a black woman who loves Caroline Leavitt. Let's see what this woman says. I'm just curious, because not everybody likes anyone that has anything to do with Trump. So let's see what this young lady says about Caroline Leavitt. She says Caroline Leavitt is a badass.
Listen, I don't care if you're on the left, the right, the middle. This woman ate down, okay? She made me want to get my stuff in order. Journalist was like, how many of these illegal immigrants are actually criminal? Caroline said, all of them.
Ding.
And journalist said, isn't it unconstitutional for Trump to remove any independent executive agencies? Not only did she say no, she said, if you don't believe me, go read the 2020 Supreme Court case of Saleh v. Consumer Financial Bureau, whatever. I was like, well, after 7 days of being in the White House, price of eggs are too high. She said, well, did you check the last administration who slaughtered millions and millions of chickens? Therefore, there's a chicken shortage. Therefore, the price of eggs are high. Look it up. This woman stood by her president. She stood by the American people. Anything, this woman inspired me to check the source. She had receipts for days.
All right, so there you go. Someone who actually likes Caroline Leavitt. That's good. Some people are critical. Whatever. I don't care if they're critical. I think she does a good job. She's a great spokesman for the White House. And she knows her shit. So there you go. She's trending. What else? Also, now let's talk about my thumbnail today. Up there. Thumbnail. Things that I disagree with. This is fascinating. So apparently Elon Musk and Donald Trump, or maybe Donald Trump, I don't know who threw out the idea. They threw out the idea of paying a Doge dividend of $5,000 to every American, right? And this is one of those ideas that may sound good politically, but is a bad idea. Hello, TC. What's up? Nice to see you. And also, anyone else show up? Anyone else? Okay. I got, this is one of those ideas that I don't agree with. Okay. Because, they gave out all these checks during, during COVID. And that's a budget buster. You're just giving people money to giving people money. I don't like the idea. But here's the summary of this. Elon Musk proposes a $5,000 Doge dividend for all Americans Elon Musk has proposed discussing with President Trump a Doge dividend, a plan to distribute $5,000 checks to every American taxpayer, funded by the potential savings by the Department of Government Efficiency. Musk has not been officially appointed as the head of this department, but appears to be acting in an advisory capacity. Discussions are underway, but no formal policy decisions have been confirmed. So, breaking. Look. First of all, I don't know if they've saved that much money yet, have they? Here's a better idea for me. Let's work back towards a balanced budget or even a slight budget surplus so that we're not continuing to increase the debt, not the deficit, the debt. Spending it all on tattoos. Okay. He made a suggestion, you not order it for fuck's sake. No, I know he made a suggestion. I know he did not make just a suggestion. Okay. But it's just one of those suggestions I go, no, let's not do that. Let's get, because the real results that I think the American people would want, if we got anywhere close to a balanced budget, don't you think that would help with inflation? We wouldn't have to print more money out of the deficit and stuff like that. It would slow inflation to a crawl, wouldn't it? I would think. So, here it is, the Doge dividend. Elon Musk just said Doge is considering sending $5,000 refund checks to all U.S. taxpayers. This plan would send 75 million households, a total of $400 billion, which is 20% of Doge's projected savings by 2026. What does this mean? Here, let's just roll this out. What does this mean? Let's explain. A thread. For some background, it all began when an ex-user posted below the proposal. The plan would redistribute 20% of Doge's projected $2 trillion in savings. Only households that are net payers of federal income tax would receive a $5,000 refund. Now, that's something different, because 44% of the country pays zero. 44% of our country pays zero in income. They don't pay a net income tax. So the key point, this is the key point in the plan. According to the Tax Policy Center data, 40.1% of all tax filers in the U.S. are considered non-paying. There are 132 million households in the U.S. as of 2024. Only 59.9% of households will receive a Doge dividend check. This is somewhat different than a pandemic stimulus where they gave it to just anybody. Anybody could get that. Here's the criteria for the 2020 pandemic stimulus plan for the IRS. Tax filers with adjusted gross income of up to $75,000 for individuals and up to $150,000 for married couples filing joint returns receive the full payment. Being a net payer was not a criteria. The Doge dividend proposal argues 4 key benefits: righting the wrong done to the taxpayers, sharing the benefits of cost cutting with taxpayers, boosting morale to increase U.S. tax receipts, incentivizing labor force participation in the year 2025. But what about inflation? The U.S. handed out nearly $4 trillion of pandemic stimulus. This was objectively inflationary, and we continue to pay for the price for it today. So was the Doge dividend any different? It is somewhat different, but we would still expect at least a modest inflationary effect, which I don't want. No, hello, Reaccion Puerto Rico. The proposal argues that the $5,000 refund would be funded through Doge savings. This is different than the $4 trillion of fiscal stimulus that was funded through deficit spending. It also argues the refund is only sent to tax-paying households who have a higher propensity to save. While this is true, it doesn't mean it is helping to tame inflation. While the refund is not funded through deficit spending, those funds would also not be used to reduce the deficit, which right now I'm all about reducing the deficit. Let's start fixing that problem. But I digress. Let's see. That's $400 billion, or 22% of the fiscal year 2024 U.S. deficit that could be used to pay down debt. Furthermore, it's unclear if this money would really be saved by these households. $2.1 trillion of excess savings have been wiped out of the U.S. economy since August 2021. Personal savings rates are near their lowest levels on record at 4%. Saving is hard when you have inflation. I'd rather them use it to as a hedge on inflation. On the flip side, the proposal would certainly incentivize labor force participation. It would also stimulate the economy and likely increase consumer spending. We have seen signs of weakening spending, such as at restaurants, with growth down to negative 3.9% in July 2024. So far, DOGE has saved $55 billion in taxpayer dollars. This is roughly $360 per taxpayer through 1,200 initiatives. Well, and that's if the courts don't fuck it up, too, though. If the courts all of a sudden say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, and it slows everything down to a crawl, and you have to wait for Congress to do shit, that there's not going to be that savings either. But I still think children need to pay their fair share. That's funny. I just think I still think we need to, as a country, stop the deficit spending. Stop borrowing. Look, here's another problem we're going to have that's coming up this year, okay? So remember when Janet Yellen was saying that inflation is transitory, right? She was saying inflation is transitory, the Secretary of the Treasury. And so during this time, during the Biden administration, they decided that they were going to refinance much of the country's debt. You know, they do that through T-bills and shit like that. But they did it in all short-term debt, debt things, like bills, whatever. They did it all short-term stuff. So all $10 trillion of our debt is going to be maturing in the next, I think, mid-year, like sometime later this year. And so all of that debt is going to have to be refinanced, be sold, whatever. But the problem is, when Janet Yellen did that, she was assuming that inflation would subside some and that they could drop interest rates more. That didn't happen. So that's going to be a problem for this administration. And then when the financial effects of that come about and cause probably a little more inflation, who gets blamed for it? Donald Trump, even though it's Janet Yellen's fault. And that's why I say, no, don't. If you're going to get these savings, use them as savings, use them as debt reduction or deficit reduction. Not spend it. It's like in my state of Minnesota, when Tim Walz came into office, our state had a $18 billion surplus. What did Tim Walz do? And in the budget, $18 billion surplus. He spent the Democrats, who control everything in Minnesota, kind of like in California, they control everything here this last session. Now Republicans are sharing power in one of the houses. Not only did they spend all of it through their new budgeting, but we're at a $6 billion deficit. Why? Because they had all these priorities they wanted to do. They wanted to feed every child in every school in Minnesota breakfast and lunch. They came up with proposals for so much bullshit, and they blew through it in 4 years. An $18 billion surplus. Look, we got to stop thinking that way. Either you reduce the deficit or you just reduce taxes and do it over time. Don't start sending out checks to people again. I know it's different this time. It's not going to go to everybody. But here's the bad part about that. That 40% that doesn't get a $5,000 check, Democrats can whip them up into a frenzy, get them out in the polls, and then you're not going to have the House and the Senate anymore. Do what you came here to do. Reduce our deficit. In fact, make it be a surplus. I don't care. And start chipping away at the debt, I think that would do a lot more for all the American people. But look, politically, oh my gosh. You get a $5,000 check with that scribbly Donald Trump on it. Maybe that'd be great for him. Maybe that'd be great for the people who actually pay taxes. I don't know. Anyway, so as I go through this some more, so they said Doge just saved $55 billion in taxpayer dollars. This is roughly $360 per taxpayer through 1,200 initiatives, less than 3% of the $2 trillion goal, but still progress on the first month. In the first month! And I hope that all sticks. Deficit spending is finally getting the attention it deserves. Whether the $5,000 refund passes or not, it should not distract from the greater goal. Reducing the $1.8 trillion annual deficit is essential. If we eliminate the deficit, we eliminate a ton of our problems. And this is the Kabiasi letter, an X, the app formerly known as Twitter, who I'm going to follow them right now. So, I tell you. So anyone who thinks I'm in the cult, as much as I'd love a $5,000 check, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. Be nice. I could use it. I need new tires on my car. But I just think it's a bad idea. So there you go. There's one for you, lefties who say, oh my God, you agree with Trump on something? You're in the mega cult. Fuck off. Anyway, what's up, Eagle? I see you. What up? What did Eagle say that's funny? I see people laughing. Stop with your fancy logic and reason. Yeah. Yeah. No, we have none of that. All right. By the way, did I do the thank yous yet? Here, let me go on my notifications yet. Thanks to the people who tweeted out the show or did a let's go. Here's a few of them as I scroll through my notifications. My notifications. My notifications are a mess right now because I got people arguing with me about Ukraine and shit. There's one from CG. Thank you. Got the cat. Hey, let's go. Thank you, Simon Wilkins, for tweeting out the show on your own. Always with some food products on the screen. Let's show some of this food. That's a pasta dish with some spinach, something in the middle or whatever, and that's looking good. And there we go with some. That looks like a cross between a breakfast in London and Minnesota hot dish. I don't know what the hell that is. There we go, beans, bacon, and tater tots, and there you go. And then some oranges with, I don't know what the hell's that. This is some orange slices, some cashews or peanuts or something. Anyway, as opposed to penis, it's not oranges and penis. That's good. Okay, thank you also Ms. Wild Wolf tweeting out the show and gave me and Resolute Juror with a let's go, always a wrestling theme. Here's another one, Ms. Wild Wolf. That little kid is so cute with the Penguins jersey. Nice to see it. Somebody here laughing about some shit. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's has to do with my little thread with Ed. Amazing Disgrace with the let's go. YoU'rE. Although that's not, is that Army or Marine? That's Marine. That's Marines. Okay. And of course, Ty Alexander with the requisite Ric Flair. Woo! And then a few other people. Thank you, Somnambul Nation, Simon Wilkins, TC tweeting out the show, Somnambul Nation with the little SpongeBob. Grampy Hope, we're actually on Puerto Rico with that dude. I can always blank on his name. Will Ferrell? Yeah, Will Ferrell. Awesome. And then some other people who retweeted the show. Swamp Fox goes, Man Squatch, Somnambul Nation. We're actually on Puerto Rico. Tyre Alexander, Amazing Disgrace, Resolute Germ, Kirsten Shull, K Shull, and CG. So thanks everybody for doing that. I appreciate that more than you know. There you go. All right. Speaking of Doge, by the way, here's something else. Doge apparently has discovered $4.7 trillion in treasury payments that are almost impossible to trace. I talked about this the other day. The Treasury Department sent $4.7 trillion of payments without an identification code that links a treasury payment to a budget line item, according to Doge. Making the payments almost impossible to trace. So here's what they said. Doge said the identification payment code, called the TAS for Treasury Access Symbol, is now required as of Saturday to increase the the insight into where money is actually going. Thanks to U.S. Treasury for the great work, Doge posted on X. So here's the importance of the Treasury payment code. According to the Bureau of Fiscal Service, which is under the Treasury, TAS codes are used to describe any one of the account's identification codes assigned by the Treasury and is also referred to as the account. All financial transactions made by the federal government are classified by TAS when reporting to the Treasury and Office of Management and Budget. The discovery was announced on the same day Doge appeared to have populated the Doge.gov savings page, which as of Monday evening said the total estimated savings the establishment of the department totals about $55 billion. So basically, if they were going to go ahead and audit the Treasury and find out, well, where does this you sent out this payment, but why? And it didn't have the identification code, there's no way to trace it. So 4.7, now I don't know what time frame this $4.7 trillion includes, but still it's $4.7 trillion that has no identification of the purpose of it. Now it may, you may be able to know by who the payment was made to or whatever, be able to figure it out eventually, but shouldn't they always have a code so you can easily audit what's happening with the Treasury? So there you go. In American greatness, there's an article. Apparently, President Trump has fired thousands of government workers after the buyout offer expires. Shortly after the deadline passed on Donald Trump's offer of an 8-month buyout for all federal employees, the White House fired several thousand more federal workers over the weekend, according to Epoch Times. The firings occurred across numerous federal agencies, including Environmental Protection Agency, the Department of Health and Human Services, the Federal Aviation Administration, among others. A spokesman for the EPA confirmed that the agency terminated about 388 probationary employees after a thorough review of agency functions in accordance with President Trump's executive order. At least 1,165 employees of the National Institute of Health, which is overseen by HHS, were also fired, according to an internal email. Hundreds more were fired by the FAA, according to a statement by the Professional Aviation Safety Specialists PASS union. So, and obviously, people are upset about this. So basically, most of these firings were they had a name here for it. The probationary employees. So people they've recently hired. So when they say if they fired thousands, well, this is how many people they've hired that are still in a probationary period. Senator Patty Murray of Washington additionally confirmed that over 1,800 employees at the Department of Energy had been fired. The Department of Education confirmed that in an internal email that 160 newly hired employees were laid off. The Department of Veteran Affairs, widely criticized as one of the most inefficient and unpopular agencies, also fired over 1,000 employees. Mass federal layoffs fulfill yet another campaign pledge by President Trump, blah, 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 blah. So you're going to hear Democrats howling about that over the next few days. Also, now, this is interesting, though. They did have one little win in court here. Eagle, I didn't say hello, did I? Hi, Eagle. Hi, TC. Hi, Selected Boy. Yeah, boy. The D.C. District Court judge, or a D.C. District Court judge, has rejected a request for temporary, what is it, TRO? What's a TRO? I can't remember what TRO stands for. Temporary restraining order, barring Doge from access to student loan data. Uh-oh. It appears at least some federal district courts are refusing to fall for the hair-on-fire antics of the massive pre-planned lawfare project meant to freeze the Trump administration's control of the executive branch. On February 16th, we pointed out how court rejects AFL-CIO demand for temporary restraining order against Doge for access to the DOL, HHS, and CFPB, all those acronyms. Now, in a memorandum and opinion and order issued yesterday, District Court Judge Randolph D. Moss, who is an Obama appointee for what it's worth, rejected a motion for a temporary restraining order prohibiting Doge from having access to the Education Department records related to student loans, finding there was no clear showing of imminent and likely irreparable harm. Oh, because were they getting read-only access? I don't know. But he blocked it. From the order, plaintiff, an organizing representatives representing students at the University of California school system, moves for an emergency order temporarily restraining Acting Secretary of Education Denise Carter and the Department of Education, collectively ED, from disclosing information about plaintiff's members to individuals affiliated with the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Plaintiff further seeks an order requiring ED to retrieve and safeguard any such information that has already been obtained by and shared or transferred by DOGE or individuals associated with it. Now, for the reason below, the court denies the plaintiff's motion. The court accordingly starts by considering whether USCA, the University of California Student Association, has made it clear showing that it will likely suffer irreparable harm in the absence of an emergency injunctive relief. Because the court concludes that the UCSA has failed to clear that essential hurdle, the court analysis also ends there. So they didn't see any irreparable harm because what could they do? They're not gonna call your student loan in if they have the data on where shit's going or people pay them or whatnot. So there's a lot more than that, but if you want to get into the details, the whole order is in this article. Let's see. Also, the USDA. Oh, this is. I've been wondering about this. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, Secretary Rollins, they're exploring a federal solution to stopping China from purchasing U.S. farmland.
China is asshole.
Because China's buying up a lot of U.S. farmland, especially and it seems like a lot of it tends to be around in very strategic places like near military installations and shit. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, Secretary Brooke Rollins told Breitbart News exclusively on Friday that President Donald Trump's administration is exploring ways for the federal government to stop China from purchasing American farmland. Rollins, in her first non-trade publication exclusive print interview, said that no doubt people are concerned about this and rightly want American farmland to be owned by Americans, not foreigners, especially those loyal to the Chinese Communist Party. Rollins said that Trump deserves major credit for reorienting worldwide discussions and viewpoints about the threat of the CCP on the world stage as he began exposing this in his first run for president, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, the main thing you got to know, they're trying to find ways to stop China from buying American farmland. And again, because it seems a lot of the farmland they own just happens to also be around American military installations. That's probably not a good thing. Daily Caller, Trump puts anti-fraud expert in charge of Social Security after the acting chief quits in Doge class. So this is all Doge, a lot of Doge news and a lot of stuff that we're just like, man, why did we do this a long time ago? President Trump appointed a fraud detection expert to lead the Social Security Administration after its acting commissioner reportedly resigned following a dispute over access to sensitive documents, according to the Washington Post. Leland Dudek, who manages the Social Security Administration's anti-fraud office, will serve as acting commissioner while the Senate vets Frank Benziano, Trump's nominee for permanent commissioner. Dudek replaces Michelle King, a 30-year SSA veteran who quit after refusing to provide sensitive records to the Department of Government Efficiency's team. Yeah, she quit in protest. Na 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 na, na 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 na. Hey, 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 goodbye. Get your ass out the door, bitch. Okay, moving on. So there you go. That's some new shit. What did JB say? What JB? Sitting here with my poodle watching. Feels good, man. Hey! Yeah. I feel you, brother. All right. Also, so a lot of people are questioning Elon Musk's role in the Trump administration. And so they've decided to clarify by saying this. The Trump administration says Elon Musk is a special advisor, kind of like Anita Dunn was to Biden. He is not an employee of the U.S. Doge Service or U.S. Doge Service Temporary Organization. Mr. Musk is not the U.S. Doge Service Administrator. He's just an advisor, huh? So Musk is a special government employee. I will highlight the important parts. Mr. Musk is an employee of the White House office. He holds a position as a non-career special government employee. In that job, Mr. Musk is a senior advisor to the president. It is not uncommon for the president to have senior advisors who are SGEs. For instance, Anita Dunn, you might know that name, was an influential special advisor to President Biden while serving as an SGE. Now, the only difference might be Anita Dunn might actually have been the president because nobody knows how Biden was doing. So just got to say that, because, that's just how it is. And you don't know but Biden was actually doing anything. So anyway, in his role as senior advisor to the president, Mr. Musk has no greater authority than the other senior White House advisors. Like other senior White House advisors, Mr. Musk has no actual or formal authority to make government decisions himself. Mr. Musk can only advise the president and communicate the president's directives. So that's interesting that they put that out there, and there's a little more elaboration in the article, but that's good enough for me. Also, supposedly SpaceX engineers have been given the task to review the FAA air traffic operations. Now, this has nothing to do with the flight that flipped over when it landed in Canada, but on February 16, 2025, the new head of the Department of Transportation revealed that it had invited SpaceX to review its air traffic control operations in Virginia and make recommendations. So, let's see, tomorrow members of Elon Musk's SpaceX team will be visiting the Air Traffic Control System Command Center in Virginia to get a firsthand look at the current systems, learn what air traffic controllers like and dislike about their current tools, and envision how we can make new, better, more modern, and safer system. Oh my gosh! Because their shit's old. Their shit is old. So he says, because I know the media and Hillary Clinton will claim Elon's team getting special access, let me make clear that the FAA News regularly gives tours in the command center to both media and companies. Now, many propaganda news reports immediately did exactly what Duffy predicted, quickly finding people to attack both Musk and Duffy for this action and giving them a bullhorn for those attacks. It prompted criticism from some aviation professionals. SpaceX put people in danger yesterday, and their for-profit corporation should reimburse every other for-profit corporation that had to divert, change course, or delay because of their operations in the National Airspace System, wrote Steve Gengelis, an aviation safety chair for the Airline Pilots Association, in a social media post after the incident. The incident? What incident? There was no incident. Like many in the propaganda press, this article made a big deal about the debris that fell in the Caribbean during the January Starship Super Heavy test flight, when Starship broke up soon after stage separation. However, buried this fact at the very end of the article. In the case of the January launch, Diaz and SpaceX coordinated debris response areas with ATO, FAA's Air Traffic Controller or Air Traffic Organization, beforehand, as it had done on past flights. But this was the first time the area were activated. It was only a matter of minutes from when it was activated to when the airspace began to get cleared. She said, sufficient given the time it would take for the debris to fall into the airspace. The airspace was cleared in about 15 minutes. She added, those debris response areas are developed in coordination with the FAA's Office of Commercial Space Transportation. So anyway, they're complaining, they caused disruptions when that the piece blew up in the sky or burned up in the sky. But they had already taken care of that. They'd already planned it in advance. They had the airspace cleared. They knew what they were doing. So, FTG. All right, enough about that. Moving on to some other things. Veto's trending. Lindsey Graham is trending. Ukraine budget trending. And this is all due to Lindsey Graham wanting to put $48 billion of funding in the next budget for Ukraine, which is a hot topic. So people are here saying, did you know Lindsey Graham's budget in the Senate contains funding for Ukraine through 2030? On November 5th, we voted for not one more dollar to Ukraine, didn't we? Interesting. So here's this part. Senate debates funding for Ukraine amid budget controversy. Senate Majority Leader John Thune has urged the passage of a budget proposed by Senator Lindsey Graham, which includes significant funding for Ukraine until 2030. However, this proposal has sparked controversy and skepticism among some politicians and the public, particularly regarding the allocation of funds towards foreign aid over domestic issues. Senators like Rand Paul have opposed this budget, citing an intention to increase spending, while others call for stringent audits of aid to Ukraine, which I think we need. But so what year is it again? 2025? And we're budgeting for Ukraine to 2030? To which Cat Turd, the very influential scholar on X, says, hell no! And Elon Musk replied, no more. What part of no more for money for Ukraine does Leader John Thune not understand? And apparently Nancy Mace is considering a primary run against or challenge to Lindsey Graham for that Senate seat. That'd be interesting. So here's Senator Lindsey Graham budget proposal. Here he is on Face of the Nation. I think he's talking about this. Come on, there you go, full screen. Here's Lindsey Graham on Face the Nation talking about budgeting more money for Ukraine.
What did Trump do to get the weapons flowing? He created a loan system. They're sitting on $10 to $12 trillion of critical minerals in Ukraine. They could be the richest country in all of Europe. I don't want to give that money and those assets to Putin to share with China. If we help Ukraine now, they can become the best business partner we ever dreamed of. That $10 to $12 trillion of critical mineral assets could be used by Ukraine and the West, not given to Putin and China. This is a very big deal. How Ukraine ends. Let's help them win a war we can't afford to lose. Let's find a solution to this war. But they're sitting on a gold mine to give Putin $10 or $12 trillion of critical minerals that he will share with China is ridiculous.
All right, so that's Lindsey Graham's reasoning for supporting Ukraine. And also, look, one of the best kept secrets regarding Russia's incursion into not just the Donbass area, but the Crimea area, is both of those incursions just happened to occur not longer after they discovered more oil there. So there is certainly a Russian incentive to, fight, to take these regions and whatnot. But I'm still struggling with the idea that our heavy footprint into Ukraine's business regarding this is there. Now, certainly we've had, when we took all the nukes out of Ukraine and said that we would be part of protecting them back in the day, that's something that we seem to be questioning right now. The other part, though, is we also told the Russians that we wouldn't allow NATO expansion heading east further and further into Europe and closer to their border. And we literally have, Finland now becoming a NATO member on the border of Russia. And I think that there's that buffer. There was a time when the government of Ukraine said they were going to be neutral. And for some reason, we didn't like that. And we pushed, I'm trying to keep this gentle, we influenced the Ukrainians into electing a pro-West government. And I can understand maybe, just maybe, when we've broken the agreements about NATO, we've broken other agreements, I can kind of understand why Russia may say, we need that buffer again. Because remember, the Donbass region was independent. It wasn't really part of Ukraine. Somehow it ended up being part of Ukraine, but it was kind of an independent region for a while. And so that also was a buffer, but then it became a part of Ukraine. And then all of a sudden now we're trying to, we've got a Western, pro-Western government in Ukraine. And it's just, there's just so many nuances to this that people don't really want to talk about. We helped cause that's, Eagle, I'm saying that too. That's kind of what I'm saying in a roundabout way here. We helped cause this over time. And for whatever reason, we can't seem to get on a single policy over this. But I'm still highly skeptical of sending more money to Ukraine. Now, that brings me to what I got in an argument on the internet for. And I'm going to spend a few more minutes and I got to get out of here. Oh, by the way, Rubio leads peace talks with Russia and Saudi Arabia. Secretary of State Marco Rubio led U.S. talks with Russia and Saudi Arabia focused on ending the ongoing war in Ukraine. The discussions, which marked significant diplomatic engagement, excluded Ukraine representatives. Now, part of that is because Ukraine has kind of backed out of it. And part of it is, this is another thing that I question with this administration. Okay, so remember, hey, all you people call me MAGA cult members, listen carefully. I don't know that that's the best way to do it, not having one of the parties involved in the discussions, but then Ukraine kind of doesn't want to be in the discussions. Rubio emphasized the need for bold diplomacy and discussed potential economic and geopolitical cooperation with Russia, indicating a shift towards a negotiated settlement. Now, the people who hate Trump hate this idea. Republicans against Trump. First reply up here, Marco Rubio. For years to come, there are many people on the right that are going to be having to explain and justify how they fell into this trap of supporting Donald Trump, because this is not going to end well. This is back when he was campaigning, of course. This is a long time ago. Someone here says 3 years ago, Senator Rubio was actually right about Putin's intentions. So odd to me that he's now helping Putin achieve these goals, especially number two. I hope he will reconsider. It's not too late. I think they need them both in there. Look, the ultimate solution, I suppose, which probably no one's going to go for, would be to go back to the 2014 borders and maybe not and pledge that Ukraine will not become a part of NATO. But I don't think the Russians are going to leave Crimea. I don't think if there's questionable whether they even consider leaving Donbass. It's questionable whether Ukraine is going to say, no, we're not going to join NATO. It's questionable whether or not, if Ukraine definitely wants their territory back. This is all fucked up because we had a weak president in it for 4 years who really, all he did was throw money to Ukraine and make some Ukrainian president and generals very wealthy. But on the front of who's supporting Ukraine monetarily, there's a new development, and that is this: Europe preps a huge defense package to boost Ukraine. European officials are working to put together a multi-billion-dollar package aimed at boosting collective security in the region and supporting Ukraine in what will be its largest of a kind so far, German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said over the weekend. Newsweek contacted the German Foreign Ministry for additional comment via email. Now, why it matters: President Trump is starting to negotiations with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, on potentially bringing a swift end to the nearly 3-year war in Ukraine. NATO member states are raising concern over Europe's collective security, warning of the urgent need to bolster defenses against the risk of Russian aggression extending beyond Ukraine's borders. Well, I thought we were trying to stop the war and have Ukraine have some borders. But anyway, so here it is. Speaking to Bloomberg on the sidelines of the Munich Security Conference in Germany, which ran from February 14th to 16th, Baerbock said the huge defense package has never been seen in this dimension before. German daily newspaper Berliner Zeitung reported that Baerbock said the package could be worth some 700 billion euros or $732 billion. However, that figure wasn't in the Bloomberg article cited by the publication at the time of the writing. Similar to the Euros and the Corona crisis, there is not a financial package for security in Europe. That will come in the near future. Well, I say great. This is all in Europe. We are certainly have done our fair share, okay, in securing the rest of the world and NATO. I say it's about time the Europeans step up since it's in their backyard. Do we have to be the ones who fund even half of what they're doing over there? I'm just curious. Hello, Frankie Five Angels, Trump forever, good for you. Hell yeah. Well, not forever, but it's definitely these 4 years, and I'm happy with what he's doing. So there you go. Welcome to the show. If you've never been here, hit the subscribe button right now. Hit the damn subscribe button. So, So that's it. Yes, great. And here's another one. The Kyiv Post, Ukraine's global voice, EU plans historic $700 billion aid for Ukraine. Good. Let them do it. Take us off the hook for some of this. We're deficit spending to help Ukraine and not our own people. The EU is set to send Ukraine an unprecedented aid package of 700 billion euros, though details are murky at present. And so this is, okay, so you get the idea. So as I was telling you earlier, I got into this, not necessarily a kerfluffle, but Ed Krasenstein, Ed the less ugly of the twin brothers, posted, what did he post here? Here it is. Right here. This is what he posted yesterday. He said, breaking, Russia might be devastated. It looks like Europe is stepping up in a major way, potentially committing $732 billion in additional aid to Ukraine, nearly 2.5 times the global support Ukraine has received since the war began. If this happens, it would deal a crippling blow to Russia's war effort, significantly strengthening Ukraine's defenses. Unlike Trump, who appears to be eager to accommodate Putin, European leaders recognize the stakes and are standing firmly for democracy and sovereignty. Okay, great. Now, the controversial thing that I said back to him was exactly that. Great. We shouldn't have shouldered the greatest burden in the first place. It's about time they stepped up. It's important to them. It's about time they contributed their fair share for their neighbor. Now, I don't know the exact numbers when I wrote this, but my point was, a lot of people on the left like to talk about people's fair share. Fair share. So I wanted, that was my point here. I wanted to talk about the fair share. And he comes back with the greatest burden. By what standard? Europe is given more than the U.S. per dollar of GDP. Oh, so that's your measure? Now, and then when I looked it up, if you add up all of the European countries and Norway and Great Britain, or all the countries that are not necessarily part of the EU, they have given slightly more in the dollar amount total than the U.S. But again, we're just one country. There are multiple countries with the war in their backyard. Now, I guarantee you, if it started expanding and it started into a bigger conflict, who would jump in and help? Of course we would, because, we don't need another world war. And plus, look, here's the thing. I think this war, the one thing that they did that may be panned out is that kind of proved that Russia may be depleted pretty heavily. Of course, Ukraine is, depleted too, especially of manpower. But I just, these people who put the Ukraine flags in their bios, or the Amy Klobuchars who say, I stand with Ukraine with Minnesota on the top and the bottom. I think to myself, well, if you're that supportive of Ukraine, why haven't you sent your children over there to volunteer in their army? Or why haven't you, volunteered your troops to go over there? If this is that big, okay? And so this commitment by the EU, great. Of course, it starts right. They wait until we get into peace talks to do it. But is it better late than never? I suppose. Maybe it strengthens Ukraine's position in the negotiation. Great. Let them do it. We don't need to do deficit spending, more deficit spending to support Ukraine. We've already, we already bear most of the burden for NATO because we're doing what we said we do. But now finally, it's nice to see the other European countries step up. Good. So anyway, lots of people replying to me. Just, oh man, oh, here's one. This is my favorite. Buy American. I bought one Trump and got the Republican Party for free. You know what? Let's just have a little reminder here. If he bought American, why didn't he do this when Trump was in office? Why did he do it when Obama was in office, when Bush was in office, and when Biden was in office, but not when Trump was in office? Didn't make any more moves. Huh. Maybe, and just maybe, he was worried about the guy that I sometimes call a jackass, because the jackass is unpredictable, and I like that. We need that. So I don't, the idea that, oh, you're a Putin puppet. Oh, all the Republicans are on Putin's side. No, fuck Putin. I don't give a shit about Putin. He's an asshole. But so is the most corrupt country in Europe, called Ukraine. We don't even know where half that money went anyway. So there you go. That's what was happening in my feed. And I 68,000 views, 559 likes, 111 comments to me that I haven't gone through them all. This is only a portion of them. But holy shit, I don't usually have that many comments. Of course, Ed has 10,000 comments on that stupid topic. All right, I got to get out of here, but here's a few articles that you haven't seen yet. U.S. and Russia take first step, very useful Ukraine war talks, agree Trump-Putin meeting to come. In Breitbart and Daily Caller, neocons come out of the woodwork to whine about Trump administration's bid to close the curtain on Ukraine war. Yeah, but because, this has been a boon to anyone who's a defense contractor. I'll tell you that. We give them all our old shit. They use it against Russia, and then they can charge us for a bunch of new shit. They're like, hey, we love us some war. What did Eisenhower call it? The military-industrial complex? Yeah, you got to worry about that. National Pulse, Zelensky throws toys from a pram but cancels peace talks appearance. Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky is canceling his expected appearance at peace talks with Russian officials to be held in Saudi Arabia and moderated by the United States. Zelensky instead announced Tuesday he would depart to Ankara, Turkey, where he was holding meetings with Turkish strongman Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and then head home to Ukraine. So he's skipping the peace talk, which I don't know if that's smart, but who knows? I don't know what he's doing. And the PJ Media, The Art of Sabotage, the far left's betrayal of Ukraine is coming. So here it is. This is, I'll open with the punchline. Be forewarned, there's nothing funny about it. The far left will betray Ukraine because they hate Trump more than they care about the Ukrainian people. That's a little foreshadowing of what the rest of the article is about. Thank you, Avocados Diablo, dropping us bullet in the tip jar. Oh, play Senator Kennedy for a palate cleanser before you go. Okay, let's put it this way. There's a whole bunch of other articles in the links today. Is that sufficient? That'll work, right? Also, I put a link to the P-Dog Night merch store where you still can get the January 20th Unburned by What Has Been. I need to figure out what to make some new merch. All right, let's see. You said from, let me go back here. Thank you for reminding me, Avocados Diablo. Let's see. You said from the 25-second mark to the 3-minute mark. Okay, here we go. We're going to play from the 25-second mark, and we'll go to the 3-minute mark because Senator Kennedy, the foghorn leghorn of the Senate, but a brilliant foghorn leghorn. This is on Canny talking about Democrat. The title of this is Democrats Have to Try Harder Not to Suck. All right, here we go.
Crow. I'd make a couple of points, Sean. Number one, Ms. Crow's entitled to her opinion. Number two, I think she means well.
Talking about Sheryl Crow selling her Tesla.
But if she ever had a clever thought, it died alone and afraid. I think point three, I think that...
If you don't know what to talk about, so Sheryl Crow made a social media post about selling her Tesla, and then she's going to donate it to some cause. And it's like, Nobody cares, Cheryl. You haven't been putting out any music for a while. Nobody cares.
That it should not go unnoticed that President Biden got a lot of his advice from pop singers and movie stars and people who partied with Harvey Weinstein. And we know how that turned out. In terms of the Democrats, I've got a lot of friends who are Democrats, and they haven't asked me for advice, but if I did, I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck. I mean, think about it. Over the past 4 years, the Democrats mismanaged Congress, they mismanaged COVID, they mismanaged the economy, they mismanaged inflation, they mismanaged the national debt, they mismanaged Afghanistan. More recently, in their opposition to President Trump and Mr. Musk, the Democrats have chosen to support the bureaucrats and the spending porn over the American taxpayer. Just like they support illegal immigration over the rule of law. Just like they support transgender athletes over women's sports. Just like they support Hamas terrorists over Israel. All Democrats are not like this, but the party is controlled right now by people who majored in online activism with a minor in puberty blockers. I know these people. They think men can breastfeed. They're triggered by race. They cry if you use the wrong pronoun. And most fair-minded Americans look at this and they go, these people are about 10 exits past normal. And that's what's killing the Democrats right now, in my opinion.
You know, I'm sorry. Keep going. I don't want to interrupt this. Keep going.
No, I'm done.
Okay, spending porn.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that. The rest of this is in the links today. Speaking of which, let's drop the links in the chat, and I got to get out of here. He's hilarious, and it's funny because sometimes I don't know how old John Kennedy from Louisiana is. I assume he's older than me, but then again, he kind of talks like a Gen Xer, so he might just look old for his. He might just look old for his age. I don't know, but he's funny as hell. Here, let me get rid of these. Oh, shoot, I got to get rid of that one for sure. I'll leave my post up there. All right, here we go. Do this, and we'll get this on the screen. What the hell? Why is this taking so long? Come on. Anyway, he's funny as hell. Guys, I hope you all have a good day. For some reason, my computer's lagging, so I'll get the links. If they're not in the chat before the end of the outro, they will definitely be in the description of this video / stream, whatever, on YouTube. You can find all the links of everything we talked about today in the one. It's a one-tab link. You click one link, and then all the different things we did were there. So that's it. Though I gotta go. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.